Welcome to Why I Knit. My name is Rachel and I'm your host. You can find all the show notes at whyiknitvidcast.blogspot.com. That's whyiknitvidcast.blogspot.com. This is episode number 4 and it is Saturday, December 25th, 27th, I almost said 25th, 2014. And I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas if you celebrated, Hanukkah, like myself, if you celebrate. And I hope you're enjoying if you celebrate. Happy Kwanzaa. I know, this was supposed to be up Christmas Eve. But I had started to record something completely different for a different channel, and I was very unhappy. It had been very gray that day, and the video was just getting darker and darker as I was talking. So I decided to scrap it. Then I was going to do it on Christmas, but that was my sister's birthday, so I really didn't want to do it then. Then I was going to do it yesterday, but I had some previous engagements that I had to do first. I had to go get a picture framed, and then I had to go to a music store, which is something I had been putting off for a while. So I had to do that. So that took all day. I probably could have recorded last night, but I just didn't want to. So I'm recording today, and thankfully, my dog, Molly, is behaving, and she is not on my bed. Otherwise, she'd probably be walking all over my computer, sadly. But thankfully, she's not here, so that's good. So that's enough of a little bit of a rant, and let's go to what I have on and off the needles. Yes, I said off needles. I have something off, and I'm going to go ahead and grab it for a sec, because it's right here. And if you think it's my sister's bag, no. I will talk about that in a few minutes. The miter square's done. This is the first one, and I know there's a little bit of something on there. But it's done, and I know it looks very bright, but it's a little bit darker in person. This is out of Red Heart Super Saver in Cherry Red. This is for the Winnie the Pooh blanket I'm going to work on. I started to work on in Disney World and on the train right there. Then I had to rip it out and restarted on the train. So this is the number 1. And I slipped, I think I said this last time, but I slipped the first stitch on each row for something. It's just easier to crochet together, because I'm going to crochet these together. I'm not going to do what I think you're traditionally supposed to do, is like knit a square, and like basically make it bigger and bigger. I think it's like Granny As You Go, Myers Square blankets. But I'm not confident enough to do that yet. So I'm just going to crochet them together. I know it's not how you're supposed to do it. I think you're actually supposed to sew them together as well. But I think crocheting them makes it less bulky. At least from my experience from doing Granny Square blankets, is crocheting them. So I'm hoping that that's the case for knitting as well, but I'm not 100% sure. So this is done. On the needles, I am not going to show you Miriam's bag because there's made like 0 progress on it. I've just been so busy. I wanted to get the Myers Square done because that's something that had been sorry, languishing for a little bit, and I had time. Then about a week to go, I'm like, maybe I should start working on her bag again. And then about, I want to say about Tuesday, I was talking to her. I'm like, you know what? She knows that I'm doing the quote unquote project, so might as well tell her what it is. And then she's like, oh, I know you've been working on a bag for me, so. And I'm like, how the heck have you known that? She's like, you yelled it a couple weeks before at Michael's. I don't think you knew that I was only a couple of aisles away from you, but you did. Like, oh my god, brother. So now that she knows about it, I decided not to rush for it. So my goal is to have that done by next week, and hopefully, probably start work on it big time tomorrow again. And then go on to another project and stuff. And the other thing I have on the needles is the second mitered square. It is, say if I can get it untangled a little bit. There we go. But not quite. I have it ready. So this is the second one. Number 2. And I think I'm going to work on this today because I want to get at least quarter way through it. I think I'm going to do 2 to 3 rows on it and then put it away for today and then pick it up probably Monday. And my goal is to have number 2 done by New Year's Day. I think that's doable because it's just knitting, no purling. Unlike with Miriam's bag where there's a little bit of purling because for the cables. But I've made, I don't know. So, but I think my plan is New Year's Day to really work on Miriam's bag while I'm watching the Rose Parade. And if I get a good dent in that, to work on the Myers Square if it's not done, but I'm not sure yet. But that is what I have off and on the needles. What I'm planning on, really no changes. The oats, which I talked about before. The music and flute bag for my mom, which I've talked about before. And this is new, is that Miriam wants me to make her a scarf. Originally, she wanted me to make her a hat, but now she wants me to make a scarf. So I think I'm going to do that when she gets the yarn. I think I have needles for it. I have needles that I'm currently not using that I could use for that project. I'm just not sure if I have the right cable size. Actually, I do. I can scrap what I'm working on and use those needles instead. Okay, I think I'll be okay with that because I'm just like looking at something else, and that will work out well. So yeah, I think I'm gonna start that scarf once Miriam gets me the yarn she wants. Just gonna use big box yarn because it's just easier that way. I have a couple other projects I have in mind, but I don't want to start them quite yet. And now, finally, I'm going to scrap something. I was going to do a end of the year giveaway, but I wanted to start it on Christmas Eve, so I'm going to scrap that. And I'll do that probably early next year or something. I apologize for that, I know. But you know what? It's probably just easier if I scrap it and do it next year. But the big reason for this episode is I wanted to talk about my goals for 2015. So I'm going to stop this section because I wanted this to be one big section. And then I will be back in a minute, okay? So I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 goals for 2015 to talk about. So I'm going to start off with goal number 1 is finish a pair of socks during the year. And when I mean socks, I mean not just like quote unquote practice socks, but like socks that are knit on sock yarn or like fingering weight, which it's I think basically the same thing. I think it is the same thing. Or like DK on DPNs, not on circulars, because I think that's a little bit too advanced for me. Probably not next episode, but the following episode, I'll probably start talking about socks a little bit more. Because I know knitting socks is still very popular. I had tried to do like a practice sock a while back, but it didn't. It wasn't that I lost interest. It's just that I felt that it didn't look good, and I felt like I screwed up something. So I want to try a practice sock again on DPNs. I do have DPNs that are the right size, so I think I'm gonna do that starting in a few weeks. Because I want to make myself a pair of hand knit socks. And I have like my feet are kind of weird. They're like they're small, but they're wide, so it makes my shoe size bigger. And my sister has gigantic feet. So I'm not sure if it's a good thing that I knit socks for her or if it's a bad thing. I know it sounds a little weird. Sorry. But yeah. Finishing a pair of hand knit socks is something that I'm planning to do. Another thing is to finish at least 3 gifts for family / friends. This includes neighbors. And the reason why I'm including neighbors is that we have 2 amazing neighbors. Actually, they're not even really direct neighbors to us because they live diagonally to us, both ways, one to the left and one to the right. Both of them this year have helped us take care of my sister's parakeet, especially when we were in a pinch in April and in June. April because the one of our neighbors always takes care of the bird, but they were gonna be away the same. Sorry for the coughing. Going to be away the same week that we were. And they recommended a different neighbor who we knew, but their kids are a little bit younger than my sister and myself. They're still school age, and one of their sons is allergic to, I think, a majority of animals. But they agreed to take care of the bird, so we were thankful for that. Um, and then the neighbor that normally watches Skylar, that's the bird's name, helped us out in June when we had a family emergency. And we had to go away for the weekend at like the very last minute. So I really want to make them something for Christmas for next year, because they're both Christian. So my goal is to really finish one thing for each family, and then do something for my direct family, which is, of course, what I talked about in what I'm planning on. Alrighty. The next goal is, I think a lot of people have issue with doing this. Don't buy yarn unless I have a project in mind. I am 100% guilty of buying yarn just for the sake of buying yarn. Actually, yesterday, my mom and I were talking about. My mom and I weren't actually talking. My mom asked me about my the local yarn shop in this area, whether it was still open, and I told her that I think it was, but I would probably just order yarn online because I'm not a big fan of it. It's just personal preference. Um, but I think when I probably buy yarn online unless like I'm in New York City, where there are a couple of yarn shops that I want to go to. I think I'll do that next year in January, maybe even just to go up for the day. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that right away or not, but I probably won't do that unless, as I said, I have a project in mind. Which leads me to the next one, which is I'm not going to buy any fiber unless I have finished spinning the fiber that I have. And I do have fiber. I'm not going to show it to you in this episode because it's still in the package because I'm waiting for my drop spindle. But I will talk about this more in 2015. I really want to go to Maryland Sheep and Wool or New York Sheep and Wool, well, which is better known as Rhinebeck, which of course the name of the town that the Dutchess County fairgrounds are. Sorry. Maryland's closer, but Rhinebeck's Rhinebeck. And I'm from New York, so originally. And I've never been to Rhinebeck, so I think that would be fun. The downside about Maryland Sheep and Wool is that it's in early May, and I'm usually kind of busy that weekend. If I could go Sunday, that might work out. I don't know. But I'm feeling Rhinebeck is the more likely of the two. Crochet more. This is something that I've been meaning to do for a while. I just haven't had a lot of time to do so. But I really do want to crochet more. and finally have a review feature for this recast, whether it be for fiber, spindle, yarn, pattern, I don't know. Just have a review feature. That will probably come in mid-January, I'm thinking. Because that's the only one that's going to be kind of related to the podcast stuff. But that is all the goals for 2015. I'll just talk about them quickly again. Finish a pair of socks during the year. Finish at least 3 gifts for family/friends. Don't buy yarn unless I have a project in mind. Don't buy fiber unless I finish spinning the fiber. I have go to either Maryland Sheep and Wool or Rhinebeck Crochet More and have a review feature for the vidcast. This is going to be the final episode for 2014 because I got this episode up a little bit later. I probably will actually have an episode next week. Will probably be Saturday again. Saturdays might end up being a better day for me to record. I don't know. I might switch to Saturdays. But I will let you know later. I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe 2015 New Year's Eve. Well, 2014 New Year's Eve, 2015 New Year's Day. And I will see you sometime next week, probably. Stay safe. Happy knitting. Bye.